when people talk about work-life balance, I think they think it's literally a balance and it has to be perfect. And to me, it's more of harmony, finding harmony between all these things, mixing them in together so that they make sense for whatever needs I have. So maybe sometimes it's staying in and sleeping, and sometimes it's going out and there's less sleep, and then throwing in a workout, and then doing editing for my writing or my videos, and then there's school, and then there's my social life, and it's all over the place. Like, I don't think there's a balance at all, actually. I think it's imbalanced, but it adjusts to whatever I'm going through in that moment. And I think it's more of harmony that we're looking for.
Totally.
If we were looking for that balance, I feel like it'd be even harder, don't you think?
Yeah, harmony's a much better way to put it. I think you captured what I was trying to say with the word balance, and you've articulated it really well. But I think diversifying what you're doing actually keeps you fresh, which is kind of counterintuitive, right? Like, focus on the one thing. But you can get so spun out doing the one thing all the time. If you and if you're not socializing, you're not doing other things, like, you get so focused on something, you burn out in that. And like, it's really important to diversify and to find harmony in those things, because that's important. Like, you can take on too much, no doubt. You can do too many things. You can have too many, fingers in pies, right? But like, what's important is like finding that balance of like how many things you can put on that keeps you fresh and keeps you engaged without overdoing it.
Have you ever struggled with that, or how did you even learn about that? For me, it was a constant burning out. Always. I would do way too many things all at once. I would put way too much on my plate, and I would always mess up sooner rather than later. Did you ever experience that? Or because you seem to be like you were focused on football so much, and it was only football. So I don't really see you like in your story experiencing that much.
No, definitely. Towards the end of each semester, I think we all experience a little bit of burnout here at Berkeley, just because of, like we spoke about, the academic rigors and then being a student athlete. But I do a pretty good job of, I focus on my sleep. I get a good amount of sleep every night. I try and get 9 hours every night, like, as a minimum. And my, Olivia and I prioritize that. And I think with, and I do a really good job of eating really well, caffeine intake 90 to 120 minutes after waking, like Andrew Huberman says. I follow the prescription pretty closely. Protein in the morning, carbs at night. Like, I do things that make it me able to be able to perform and sort of handle all these different things. Like, I do a pretty good job of not really get burnt out. Obviously, like, normal stress is normal, right? Like, people experience stress all the time. Like, we're at Berkeley. If you're not stressed, you're probably not doing it right. So, but for me, it's about taking care of the other stuff, getting good sleep so that no matter what comes the next day, like, you can handle it. So,
you've mentioned Dr. Andrew Huberman plenty of times now, and it's someone that has gotten a lot of popularity very recently. He's obviously been a big-time professor and podcaster, but not at the level he's at now.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous to see how his name has grown so much recently. I think when I started following him, he was reaching 2 million followers on Instagram, and now he's at over 3.5, which is ridiculous to see. It's just continuous growth, and I only found out about him this semester. One of my roommates or housemates, Tate Dolan, who's been on this podcast as well, talks about him a lot, and he's a big fan of him. But explain to me, what's the hype around this guy? Because I've definitely listened to his clips and things like that, but it seems like he's just making science cool, or neuroscience cool.
And digestible.
Okay.
That's the part. Like, he puts such complex thoughts and such complex science into a way that, like, someone without a science background can digest it. And then he actually provides, like, behavioral change and, like, actionable items to be able to create the desired result. Like, he makes it really simple. He takes something like neuroscience, incredibly difficult for, like, someone without a degree in that to understand it, simplifies it, and then gives you ways to act on it to actually find the benefit that the science talks about. And so for sleep, for example, he talks about getting 15 minutes of sunlight Like, it's so critical to get 15 minutes of sunlight when you wake up to set your circadian rhythm. And, like, there's so much more science behind that, but that's as simple as he makes it. And it's like, for me, every morning, Olivia and I get up and we walk. Like, the first thing we do is get up and walk before anything else. And so we take in 15 minutes of early sunlight. And then he also, like, there's so many things that he says that, like, you know, and you can be dogmatic about it and, like, too strict on it. But there's a couple of things that, like, I've found, like, anecdotally make me feel so much better. It's getting the sunlight and it's drinking my coffee 90 to 120 minutes after I wake up. Because I used to get up and pound caffeine. And then by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I would drop and I would be exhausted. By delaying it, right, and, like, make my body produce, I think it's serotonin, right, to wake myself up. Like, if you inject coffee, then that's doing it for you. If you make the body do it, and then you put caffeine on top of that, I don't have my crash until 9 p.m. at night now, and that's when I'm going to sleep. So that's perfect, right? You want to be crashing as you're trying to go to sleep. So there's just a few things that I've implemented from him, but it's really just how digestible he makes really complex things.
Yeah, that's really incredible to listen to, because I think the incredible part I'm referring to is how you and my housemate say the exact same things. Like, same thing with the walks and the light and everything. We were playing golf very early the other day. I think we left the house we woke up at like 5:30, left at 6,
Beautiful.
had around at 7:20.
Best time to play golf.
It was awesome, and he was just like, the Huberman sun, early morning.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so nice. It was very nice. It's something we're going to do again this week and get up early and go golfing. But